Once upon a time, I was a person who did not like leather fragrances. Fast forward today and I have about 14 fragrances to share with you. So if you're interested, then just keep watching. Hi, my name is Ayesha from simplyayesha.com. Here on YouTube, I make videos about fragrance, beauty, luxury, and lifestyle. If those are things you're interested in, please subscribe. And if you are a returning subscriber, hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. So as I said, I used to be a leather hater. However, over the past few months, I have really been craving like some dark leathery scents. And for the purpose of this video, I'm including fragrances that are leathery or suede-like, because to me, suede and leather fragrances fit underneath the same umbrella. So the fragrances I'm going to share with you today are all fragrances that I love, that I have in my collection. And I feel like I have a big range of fragrances to share with you. So I have some fragrances in here that will be for people that are scared to try leather, and then I have some more challenging fragrances. However, we will be going in no particular order. I'll just be grabbing from my basket and telling you a little bit about each fragrance, and hopefully you find this video helpful so that if you have been scared to venture into leather fragrances, that maybe this video gives you something that sounds interesting. So let's go ahead and get into these fragrances. So first up, from Fendi, I have Casa Grande. So this fragrance is a cherry, wood, and leather fragrance. So to me, the most prominent smell in here is the leather, followed by the woodiness and then the cherryness. So I get all of that at first sniff. I'm not saying that as far as like top, mid, and base notes. I'm talking about like prominence of smell to me. But I feel like all three of those components really play a big part in this fragrance. The leather here feels very luxurious and supple. If you've ever touched a Fendi bag, the leather on their bags is outstanding. I love the Fendi leather, especially like a peekaboo, like it's so soft. And I feel like that is what this fragrance embodies. It's a soft, luxurious leather. So even though it's leather, it's done in a very elegant way. I definitely think that if you are scared of leather, maybe get your nose on this one, because like I said, even though the leather is the most prominent in this is almost transparent. It's not heavy. It also kind of feels like there could be like a little tiny bit of muskiness to this that is rounding everything out. I don't know. This smells like class. It smells like luxury. And the leather in this fragrance is superb. So again, that is Casa Grande from Fendi. The next fragrance is from BDK, and this is Vanille Leather. So on this, I know leather is in the name, but please don't let that name scare you for this particular fragrance. To me, this smells like a sweet floral vanilla leather scent. So the floral in here comes off like a purple floral, so it's giving that kind of intense powdery type sweetness like violet may give, and that kind of gives off almost like a candy like vibe in my opinion, but it's not super gourmand. It's balanced by this beautiful leather that is not too strong, but it does the grounding in this fragrance. This fragrance is super addictive to me. Vanilla is in the name as well, but to me, the leather is definitely more prominent than the vanilla. I mean, the vanilla is there, it's giving a little bit of sweetness, but to me, this is more so about that like purple floral. So violet, leather, and then a little bit of vanilla. Gorgeous, gorgeous scent. Easy to wear in my opinion. I actually feel like this is a leather I can wear year round. Even though I do prefer to wear it in the fall and winter, it's definitely one I could reach for year round, especially at night. And I do feel like this fragrance is technically unisex, but I feel like it probably leans slightly feminine because of the sweetness in it, in my personal opinion. But you know, wear what you want. But if you are a woman watching this video and you're scared of leather fragrances, maybe try to get your nose on this one. So again, that is Vanille Leather from BDK. The next fragrance I have is from Tom Ford, and this is White Suede. So this fragrance is one that I love. This is a suede scent that has this muskiness to it, and it kind of has this bit of smokiness to it as well. Like the suede in here kind of comes off smoky. I've seen people say this smells like an ashtray in leather, and while I don't agree with that because that sounds like a negative connotation, I get what they're saying because it does kind of have this dry, like ashy bit to it. In addition to like a high quality suede, and a beautiful musk. So this is a fragrance that I actually find very easy to wear. Even though it's a leather scent, I find this very easy to wear. I've worn it on airplanes before, y'all. So let me just say that I'm a person that I consider what fragrance I'm wearing around people. And, you know, everybody, you do what you want to do. But for me, I like to be considerate in my fragrance choices. So that means if I'm going to a doctor's appointment or I'm going to an airplane or something like that, where we're going to be in close quarters with strangers, really close together, I don't typically wear anything that's going to be super offensive or super strong, because I don't want to give the person next to me a headache. And we don't need to debate on that. I'm just telling y'all how I am. So the fact that I can wear this on an airplane just goes to show you that, to me, this feels like a very easygoing scent. However, it's honestly signature scent worthy, because you could wear this anywhere. It's easygoing. You can wear it in the house. You can wear it out on a date. It smells very unique in my opinion. And although this fragrance has been around for a while, I still feel like it's worth getting your nose on, but you do have to try it on skin. I feel like on paper, it really doesn't do it justice. On skin, the warmth from that musk really comes out and the suede just mellows out. And I really think you should give it a try. So again, that is White Suede from Tom Ford. The next fragrance I have is another one from Tom Ford, and this one is Eau d'Ombre Leather. So Ombre Leather from Tom Ford has been out for a while. However, this is the newest iteration of it, and this is called Eau d'Ombre Leather. So this one is actually an Eau de Toilette version, but it smells completely different than the original Ombre Leather. So I have tried the original Ombre Leather. I found that it smelled like new car seats, and I liked the smell of it, but I did not like it on me. Every time I would try to wear it, I felt like it smelled masculine. I ended up giving it to my husband and I liked it on him, but it wasn't something that like I had to have. But this one smells completely different in my opinion. It still has that leather note that is the signature of this line. And yes, it kind of gives car seat a little, but this is blended with like a smoky vanilla. So this comes off in the same vein as something like YSL Baby Cat or Oh the Audacity from Penhaligon's. It comes off kind of smelling like those fragrances. And y'all know, well, maybe you don't know, but I love those fragrances. Thus, I love this one. This one, probably out of those three fragrances that I just named, this one is probably the most leathery. But it's not hard to wear in my opinion. And I like the fact that they did this in an eau de toilette, because sometimes when you increase that concentration, that makes things harder to wear. This, I feel like, is perfectly unisex. I feel like the leather is there and it's giving Tom Ford DNA, but it's not too much. I love this fragrance. I've actually worn this when it was hot, not like outside during the day, but I've worn it on hot summer nights and still loved it. Like, it was not overpowering. I think that this is a really good release from the line. And although I guess you can't say it's super unique, because like I said, it puts you in the mind of YSL Baby Cat, I feel like it's unique to the Tom Ford line while still smelling like Tom Ford. So again, that is Eau d'Ombre Leather from Tom Ford. And just to note, this is not their private line. So this is a lower price point than the Tom Ford fragrances in these types of bottles. However, performance on this is really, really good. This next fragrance is from Creed, and this is Delphinus. So if you watch my videos where I talk about every single fragrance I've worn over the past week, I feature this fragrance a lot. I wear it a lot. You see, I have quite the dent. And to some of y'all, that may not be anything. I've had this fragrance for about a year, maybe not quite a year. But for me, this is a lot. This is a beautiful scent, y'all. I love this. So to me, this comes off as like an almond, vanilla, maybe tonka, leather, woody scent. There is something that is so addictive to me about this fragrance. All the ingredients in this fragrance feel like one almost. Like they feel so smooth, like they just flow into one another. And so I feel like even though the leather is prominent in this fragrance, I feel like if you like a nutty scent and you like a little sweetness, this may be one that you like. Because it's everything, y'all. I feel like I don't even want to talk about it. I just get it. Like, just Don't just get it. But get your nose on it, spray it on your skin, because I actually picked this up at the same time as I picked up Centaurus, which these were released together. So Creed Centaurus and Creed Delphinus were released together. I tried them both at the same time, and I initially thought that Centaurus was going to be the one that I loved more. But when I actually wore them, this is the one that really does its thing on my skin. This is a sultry scent. It's a little sweet, but it's mainly just dark and woody and leathery and almondy without being too much. Love this fragrance. And it's a compliment getter from my husband for me. So absolutely would recommend that you get your nose on this. So again, that's Delphinus from Creed. This next fragrance is from the brand Arquiste, and this is called Almond Suede. So as the name would imply, this is another almond and leather type scent, kind of like Creed Delphinus. They're not the same, but kind of same category. So to me, the almond here comes off more like fresh nutty. It's not sweet and powdery. When I got this fragrance, I expected it to be like a sweet powdery scent, but that's not how it comes off to me. So initially when I got this, I was not impressed, y'all, but wearing this on the skin changed my mind on it. And the more that I wore this, I began to love it. And now it's a full-on love for me. So to me, the suede is the most prominent note in here. The suede comes off very smooth, but it is like pow in your face initially. But underneath the suede, then you get the almond, and the almond gives it a slight bit of sweetness, but it's more so like that nutty sweetness. I do feel like there may be some vanilla or tonka bean in this fragrance as well, that's giving it like an additional layer of sweetness under everything, because I feel like the longer that I wear this on the skin, the sweeter it gets, but it never gets like super sweet. So if you were like me and you saw the name of this fragrance and thought it was going to be like a gourmand, that's not what this is. Like, nope, not at all. This is not a gourmand scent, but it does have like a bit of sweet nuttiness to it and a beautiful suede. This is a dark but cozy scent. And although I do feel like this is a strong fragrance, I don't feel like it overpowers me. I don't overspray this one though, but I can actually wear this when it's hot outside. I have done it. And so that's kind of my barometer to see if something is like too powerful. I can wear this in the heat and not have a problem with it. Although I do prefer to wear it for more cozy situations. But yeah, this is a beautiful scent. Just don't think it's going to be a gourmand scent. This is definitely suede forward. So again, that is Almond Suede from Arquiste. This next fragrance is from Amouage, and this is Overture Woman. So this fragrance is a boozy, beautiful fragrance. I love this fragrance for date night, especially once it gets cold. And this has picked up some popularity over the past year or two. So some of y'all probably already have this, but I will say if you don't have it and you like a boozy scent, you need to get your nose on this. It's outstanding. So to me, this comes off boozy first. So it's a sweet booziness. I believe apple is what's in here. It smells like apple anyway, like an apple brandy type of scent. But there may be some other types of fruits in here, because to me, sometimes this comes off like dark fruity as well, like maybe plum may be in here. But in addition to that sweet booziness, there is some woodiness in here and some leather in here. The leather in here can be quite prominent. I found that based on temperature, this fragrance smells different. So sometimes the leather comes out on me more and sometimes it comes out less, but there is definitely a leather in here. So this one I think will be a good choice for people that like boozy scents. And if you're not into leather, try it on your skin and see how it comes out on you, because this may be one of those fragrances that shows you that a leather note ain't all bad. So because if you're like me, like if you like fragrances and you look at notes on fragrances before they come out and you see the leather and then you're just immediately like, no, absolutely not. I'm hoping that this video changes that for you, because some of these fragrances that have leather in them just may surprise you. So this is one that I feel like is more for the boozy lovers, but it could be a nice way for you to try out some leather as well. Not a safe blind buy, but if you like a boozy scent, I feel like you will love this. So again, that is Amouage Overture Woman. This next fragrance is from Guerlain, and this is Cuir Beluga. So last time I mentioned this fragrance in the video, I told y'all I thought it might be discontinued because I think I had heard some rumblings of that, but that is not true. It is still available, and they recently released a hair mist for this. So I guess this will be sticking around for a while, which is good news because I absolutely love this. So this to me is more of a vanilla and suede scent, but it has this muskiness to it as well. And so this comes off, to me, slightly animalic. And when I say animalic, I just mean smelling like skin. It doesn't smell like any like body byproducts or anything like that, but just like clean, warmed up skin mixed with a little leather and some vanilla. And I say a little leather, but to me the leather is probably the most prominent note in here. But to me, this is one of those easier to wear leather scents because it has that vanilla there. As long as you can get down with a bit of skin like musk, then I feel like you may like this. I find this to be incredibly sensual, perfect for date night, perfect for in the house date night. You could wear this on a cold day. I wouldn't necessarily suggest it during the summer, but for me, this kind of lives in nighttime territory because it feels so sultry. Yeah, it feels very sultry and it is absolutely stunning. So again, that is Cuir Beluga from Guerlain. This next fragrance is from Memo Paris, and this is African Leather. So this fragrance I've had in my collection for maybe about a year or so, but I will say I don't have much experience with it. I did wear it recently to kind of like refresh my memory on it, and I'm glad that I did because I really enjoyed wearing it. So this fragrance at first spray smells extremely spicy. Like initially, I don't get the leather in this fragrance. It's like allspice. And like when I say allspice, I don't mean like allspice the spice. I mean like all I'm getting is spice. The spices in here are interesting. Like I feel like I can smell like cardamom, maybe cumin, some pepper. It's very kitchen spicy. It's not sweet, but there's also something kind of like fresh and green when I first spray this fragrance. But as this fragrance wears on the skin, it really mellows out. So those spices are still there, but like this clean vibe kind of comes out. It doesn't smell like cleaner or anything like that, but it's like a clean woodiness comes out of this fragrance, and the leather comes out on the skin after it's sprayed on, for me anyway. To me, the leather smells fresh, almost like a fresh leather jacket. Not necessarily like a new car smell, but like a fresh leather jacket. It comes off like that, mixed with all these spices, mixed with this kind of clean, sophisticated vibe. And I don't know. I don't feel like I'm doing a great job explaining this fragrance, but I did enjoy wearing it. This is not a love for me because I feel like I don't know it well enough. I think I've only worn this fragrance maybe twice, but it is one that I wanted to mention because it's been around a while. A lot of you all probably have it, or you may have heard of it and been scared to try it. And I will say that this is definitely worth getting your nose on. I think it's a really, really nice scent. And like I said, on the skin, it really does its thing. I don't feel like on paper, this will do it justice. But so if you smell this in store, it might just smell like just a bunch of different spices. But on the skin, it does its thing. And I'm hoping that I'll get a lot more use out of it this winter. So again, that is African Leather from Memo Paris. This next fragrance is from Christian Louboutin, and this is called Lequir. So I guess I could have addressed this earlier, but the word cuir, C-U-I-R, is a French word that means leather. And so when I saw the name of this fragrance, I already knew what it was about because I already knew that before I tried this fragrance. But this fragrance is beautiful. Yes, leather is there, but so is peach. And to me, the peach in here is juicy, but it's also dark. There's a bit of booziness to this fragrance mixed with the leather. It comes off all very sophisticated, a little bit sweet, but dark. I don't think the leather in here is hard to understand. It smells like leather, but I don't find it to be a challenging leather. It smells very luxurious. And I think that if you are a person who may be scared of leather, maybe you should try this one because the sweetness in this kind of really rounds out the fragrance. I find this to be very well blended, and I don't pick out a lot of different notes in this fragrance, but to me, I'm just getting like peach and leather and some woodiness. And Simple sometimes can be best. I think this is done in a very sultry way, and if you're able to smell this, you should. So again, that is Lequir from Christian Louboutin. This next fragrance is from Dries Van Noten, and this is called Havana Gold. So again, this is more of a tobacco scent. So when I smell this, I get a boozy, spicy, but sweet tobacco scent. There is licorice in here, so it's definitely giving it that type of vibe as well. I feel like licorice to me is hard to explain, but once you smell licorice, you know what it smells like. The licorice in here is definitely there, and I know that's a polarizing note for some of you all, but to me, it doesn't overpower the scent. And then the leather in here is prominent as well. And honestly, when I spray this on paper, I feel like the leather comes out more than it does on my skin. So on paper, this comes off like more leather heavy. On my skin, it comes off more tobacco heavy. Obviously, that's going to be different for each person. But either way, I felt like this deserved a place in this video because the leather is definitely there. And to me, the leather is not overpowering. It's not animalic. It's kind of a clean leather scent with a little bit of sweetness to it. So overall, I think that if you like a sweet tobacco scent, you might want to get your nose on this, because to me, that's what it comes off as mostly, like a sweet tobacco, some licorice, a little bit of spiciness, and a little bit of a leather vibe. Gorgeous scent. I actually wore this fragrance last night. I went to my child's concert for school and I wore this and I was smelling so good. Like, it was cold outside last night and this was just like popping off my skin. So I love the way this smells. And if you like tobacco and you like a sweet boozy scent and you want to try some leather, get your nose on this one. So again, that is Havana Gold from Dries Van Noten. This next fragrance is probably the easiest to wear fragrance in this lineup. So I will say that if you are scared of leather or suede, but you like a easygoing scent, then try this one. So this one is Bare Suede Vanilla from Victoria's Secret. So this one is a vanilla suede musky scent. The suede here is minimal, but it is there and it gives it like a texture. So this takes it from being a sweet vanilla musky scent into something a little bit more complex than that. I still wouldn't necessarily call this fragrance complex. I find it super easy to wear, easy to understand, but done oh so well. And I am not a person who loves a bunch of different Victoria's Secret fragrances, but this is one that I was pleasantly surprised by. I have the body butter as well, and I love the smell of that as well, and it layers well with a lot of different vanillas. So I definitely think you should get your nose on this because I feel like all of y'all have a Victoria's Secret. You can easily go smell this. This is the type of suede or leather scent that I would say is for people that really are not into leather. You think you don't like leather at all? Try this one on skin. See if you get that little bit of suede note, and maybe that will convince you to try some other suede fragrances in the future if you end up liking this one. Because sometimes you gotta kind of desensitize yourself and you might find something you love. So love this one. Easygoing scent. I like wearing it to bed, but you can wear this basically on any occasion. So again, that's Bare Suede Vanilla from Victoria's Secret. So this next fragrance is kind of like a bonus because technically it doesn't have a leather note in it, but it gives me a leathery vibe and I wanted to include it. So this fragrance is from Chanel and this is called Le Lion. So technically this fragrance is a labdanum scent, and labdanum is a like resinous note that can come off smelling leathery. It also can come off like amber. And for me in this fragrance, it comes off leathery. Like, I picked out this fragrance to include in this video and then I was like, you know what? I don't even think it has leather in here. So I looked up the notes. Y'all know I don't always look up notes, but I did look up the notes for this because I wanted to confirm if it had leather in it or not, and it did not. But I still wanted to include it because I feel like if you like a leathery fragrance, then you will probably like this as well. So to me, this comes off resinous, spicy. It does smell like it has some amber in it as well that's giving it some warmth, and leathery. This is quite potent. A little goes a long way. This is something that I feel like if you overspray it, you are not going to like it. This needs to be done in small doses. It is beautiful though. It is beautifully strong. It is perfect for cold weather, but it's a lot going on. So again, to recap, it comes off like a resinous leather with some ambery touches, a little bit of sweetness, a little bit of spice, quite potent, and not gonna be for everybody, but a very bold scent. So I think that if you like leather fragrances, then if you have not smelled this fragrance, you should, because you will probably like it as well. So again, that is Le Lion from Chanel. So those were the leather fragrances that I wanted to share with you in this video. Let me know if you've tried any of these fragrances. What do you think of them? Are you a leather fan? Did I succeed in convincing you to try out a leather fragrance sometime soon? I hope I did. I really do, because clearly I was a leather hater, the type of person that saw a leather note in a note breakdown and I was like, I don't even want to smell it. Like, that's how I was. And I don't want that for y'all, because all of these are gorgeous scents and you could be missing out, okay? Anyway, if you've tried any of these fragrances, let me know what you think of them. Are any on your wish list? And if you have another leather fragrance that I need to get my nose on, tell me about it in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, hype this video up if that comes up for you. All of that helps. Sharing my videos help, and all of that pushes me to keep going. So I really appreciate the support. I will have links for all of the fragrances that I mentioned down in the description box, along with any discount codes that I may have. I will also have links to everywhere else you can find me. So that'll be my Instagram, my TikTok, and my website, all linked in the description box below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.